Hello.
Hello.
All right,
Welcome
so
back.
oh my goodness, we're on 3 whole minutes early. Wait, I gotta mute this.
Why? Why are you meeting so early?
No, it was the other thing. I got because it starts playing because I got it scheduled on my YouTube window, so then it starts playing when we lock it. I keep doing that.
So you
I'm not
had a
tech savvy.
special. Well, neither am I, but we make it work. You had a special appearance this week on Mr.
Poe on the
Poe's
go.
channel.
Poe on the go.
I love Poe. Like, I've been on his channel. He's also just been a friend for the past year.
Yeah.
And Danny and I both agree that he's like the father we never had. And then, like,
wait, no, stop! You can't say all that. No, you scare him off. No,
he doesn't get scared.
the daddy issues, right? We were talking about the daddy issues because none of us really had a healthy relationship with our parents, I don't think, and daddy issues are abound. I certainly have them, and with the added bonus of the horrible daddy, father figure of L. Ron Hubbard, I don't think that helped any of us. That didn't do us any favors, Mr. Bad Teeth, Mr. Grandpa Bad Teeth. Say what?
A bad teeth. He was like I literally thought, like, did you ever see the movie The Master?
Oh yeah. Okay. On 6 different Paul Thomas Anderson, Joaquin Phoenix. It's kind of about Phil's Hoffman. It's kind of about L. Ron Hubbard. Yes, of course, I saw that movie. I'm sorry.
Okay, but in the scene where they're banging, like L. Ron Hubbard's having sex with whoever he's having sex with on the Apollo or the Freewinds, I literally was like cringing because it was like watching my grandpa. I was like, this is so disturbing right now.
It's funny for me because I have a real love for Philip Seymour Hoffman and the kind of twisted little characters he plays. Boogie Nights in particular, the guy in Boogie Nights just breaks my heart every time. And so I don't know. I kind of like, I don't know. I think unfortunately I relate to these people a little more than you do.
Yeah. That's probably true.
In a bad way, though. It's not a good thing. I need to go get Joaquin Phoenix to rescue him or something. Speaking of Joaquin Phoenix, have you seen Beau is Afraid or Beau is Not Afraid? Beau is Afraid. It's called Beau is Afraid. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. It's Joaquin Phoenix and a bunch of people. It's a big kind of ensemble cast. It's a twisted movie, and it's kind of just a film about anxiety, kind of. I don't even know what to say what it's about. Did you see Heredity?
Yeah.
It's the same guy who made that movie.
Okay.
This is his follow-up.
Did you check it out?
What did you think of Heredity?
I liked it a lot.
I mean, the whole culty angle on it.
Yeah.
Right?
Movies, like, I'm also, though, one of those people who, when I watch a movie, I'm in it when I'm watching it, and then I'm like, I never remember it again. I never think of the lines. But some people are really good at, like, they'll quote movies all day long. Yeah. I'm like, how do you even remember that? That's you?
Autodidact. It's something. There are things that I say in my speech pattern regularly. There are things that I copied from movies as a kid. Stuff like that. I've always been.
It's funny to then rewatch them and be like, "Oh my god, that's why I said that." Like, I've been saying that this whole time.
Yeah, that's where that comes from. Exactly. It's a very funny.
Did you like? Oh, you got a plus thumbs up sign. I don't even know how that happened.
I think I just clicked onto the comments thing, so maybe that's why. I don't know.
A nice little reminder for everybody: hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe to both of our channels. We each have channels. Cinderella says she loves your voice. I do too.
Oh, me too.
It's a good
guess. It's a love-hate relationship.
It's all gravelly and nice.
Well,
So you recorded that song that Poe wanted?
Oh yeah, right. I totally forgot. Okay, I'm not that I forgot, but yeah. Well, yeah, he mentioned it, and I looked it up, and it's just I have a real love for Jim Henson, in particular too. And so I thought that was it was really appropriate too. I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, this is totally like, this sounds like, you know,
the song, everything that he was talking about, he really built it up.
I don't remember what exactly he said, but you know, it's a good example of what we were talking about being a song that just is a good song.
Yeah.
Like, you know, whether I have the banjo picking on it or not, you know, that's the original song is doom, 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 you know, and so you know, it was just, you know, fun to do. And I knew
it's fun talking to Poe. He doesn't really seem like a cop, right? Isn't that funny? Because he's like the cop of cops, but he doesn't really rub me that way.
Well, you know, there's different kinds of cops, and different cops are different ways towards different people. I don't, yeah, no, he does. I recognize him as a cop.
Did you?
Not a shit cop or whatever. Not a shit cop.
I forget. I'm like, oh, you know what? I feel like he's a veteran over a cop. That's kind of the vibe I always get.
The dad vibe, you know, he's talking about his kids. That was my favorite.
Yeah, he's the sweetest dad.
That's my favorite part. We gotta stop. This is moony. This is silly.
No, literally everybody in the chat was like, I'm older than him and I want him to be my dad.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that comment. I saw that. I was like, yeah. And like you said, there's so such a lack of grown-ups in our childhood, but there's really such a lack of grown-ups in the world these days.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely right. And also just the fact that somebody cares. Like, it's very touching that people who have nothing to do with this really, really care. And they really try to spotlight our stories. And like, it really
blows my
moving.
Mind. It blows.
Isn't it weird?
It blows my mind how many people who don't even know, or, you know, have something. Like, he's talked about how he read Dianetics when he was younger, or started to.
Yeah.
You know, it's touched a lot of people have heard of it, but it really blows my mind that never ends, that there is such a thing, such a category, identity as the never ends.
Yeah, it really is. But it's like,
people are that interested.
So cool.
I guess. No, there's something oddly gratifying about it, but it just feels like such a weird thing to.
Yeah.
Again, like we're all hesitant about like talking about like, oh, I'm Scientology thing. Like you said, you don't want to do the most interesting thing about you, which it isn't. It isn't.
Yeah.
But what I thought was interesting about that is, what is your specialty and what you're studying in your master's?
Social work.
But social work.
I have
but you
2
said
degrees in psychology, and then my 3rd one now is going to be in social work.
Oh my God, that's crazy! You already have 2. You crazy bitch! I hate you! I hate you! I hate you!
I love you. I needed it after this life of Scientology.
What you were talking about with you were talking about gangs, I think. You were talking about the and that sort of that having been born in Scientology in a sort of, you know, like that all comes around and that becomes a part of what you do now as a person. So that's a good thing that, you know, even though it's like this shitty thing, it's, you know, but only, what is it? Only a curse would call a blessing a disguise, or keep a blessing in disguise.
That's a good one. I've never heard that. No, I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, we wouldn't be who we are. Like, I would, and that's something so mad at it, but it is what it is. You know, my parents love to say you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Scientology, but it's true. My dad was my mother's auditor. Like,
but you'd be somewhere else. You know, even if your mother and your father never met. If we believe in any of this, then your spiritual fate and your spiritual being would just be. I say this about abortion stuff. When people say, if my mother had the thing, then I wouldn't be here today. It's like, yeah, you would. You would just be in another body. You would have just been born to different parents. That's all.
Do you think that's still?
Yes, I mean, yes. Yeah, I do. I think I do. I do believe in a spiritual self.
Do you think that it really was you who came and introduced yourself to your mom?
God, no. I think she made that up. I think that was her crazy delusion. I think that was her version of a Messiah complex. She wanted to be a Mother Mary Magdalene.
Okay.
She wanted to be the Virgin fucking Mary. I think that's what that was. And I think
that about her.
And when I also think that the church at the time were pushing this narrative that all the women in the Sea Org in 1975 were going to be having reincarnated Scientology kids. And that was like what it was just going to be. And by the time you were born, like your story is much more casual. It's much more sweet. It's much more, she just came along but it became, that's the norm. That's where it became the norm is when you were born.
Well, tell people what your mom said it was.
Said what was?
What happened when you were?
She said that I came to her as disembodied spirit. That there was some sort of dialogue going on. Like it wasn't just a one-time shot thing, I don't think. And sort of instructed her to have a baby so that I could have a body to be born in. And that was like, and the kicker of that was like when you were young and you want to say to your parents, I wish you'd never had me. Like apparently I couldn't even say that because it was my idea. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck, I got nowhere. I got no wiggle room, nothing, not a loophole to jump through. And it went on from there. The narrative got bolder. She went on to tell me that she actually thought I was going to be like the Scientology Messiah. But I think
it was her Virgin Mary story. Like she was. Okay.
But I think a lot of them thought that. I think a lot of women thought that I think Danny Masterson's mom thought Danny Masterson was going to be a Messiah too. Not for nothing. So I think they all kind of thought that.
I mean, it makes sense.
Well, not all of them.
Just
the delusional ones.
Scientology baby.
You were like a brat doll, baby. You were perfect.
I was exactly. I was supposed to like just clear people and want to be
and the idea of attesting to clear is like they'd ask me that.
Yeah.
Do you want it? Do you feel like you want to do that? But you had to self, whatever, I forget the word.
But that's because they thought we were clear from a former lifetime.
But that was them feeding their own ego. You know what I mean? Like that's what breaks my heart about it, is that it wasn't anything for me. It wasn't about me. This is the sort of thing that could have been perceived as praise, the way that she had like put me on some sort of weird fucked up pedestal. But it was all of lies and garbage and bullshit. And I knew that instinctually. I was like, I don't know what this is. And I didn't know what to do with it. And I didn't know how to get out from under it. And L. Ron Hubbard was hanging up on the wall going, so I don't know.
And every day we were like, hip, hip, hooray.
Do you have any idea how exhausting that is? And like to look at like propaganda, like Nazi movies and watch those people do that. It's like, oh my God, we're just like those people.
When I got to go to like a real school, get an education about history, and I learned about Nazi propaganda, I was like, holy shit, this is what we've been watching our whole lives.
And you know who was the Gorbals is fucking Mitch Brisker. He's the motherfucker that made all the propaganda.
Yeah, true.
Daddy issues, coming at you, Mitch.
We're sending all of our daddy issues just to him.
And don't sit down and don't be quiet. He was on people being too loud or something. I'm like, fuck no. Make noise. Make noise.
So much drama these days. The drama. But we're all ex-cult members.
We're all crazy people. Look, no, that's the thing that pisses. Yeah, it's the ex-Scientologists acting like Scientologist drama. We're all kind of we're all broken, dysfunctional people by default. But so is everybody, right? But it's not true. There are well-adjusted people in this world, and John Poe is a testament to that. And he's not,
so true.
I want to call him a unicorn, but you know what I mean? Like there's a guy who's perfect. He's whatever that is. All that and more. But what are you gonna do?
Hi Cinderella, hi Fat Grammy, hi
Fat Grammy.
Catastrophe. Thanks everybody for coming to hang out with us every week.
Apparently Fat Grammy has some like secret inside OSA info.
What? Spill it, Fat Grammy.
I know, right? I think they're gonna do a live about it. I can't keep up. I can't keep up.
That's kind of a good thing. Like I do remember a time when there was only about one or two channels. It was like Karen Della Carrier's channel. Did you ever watch that back in the day? It was called Surviving Scientology. And
I don't know.
It was the only thing on YouTube for the longest time about this. So now the fact that there's like on my For You page, just video after video after video about the cult is pretty cool.
All right. No, I did watch what's his face? Oh God, I can't remember his name now. Chris Shelton at first.
Yeah.
I did watch his.
Yeah.
And they were very informative. His earlier videos. They were very.
Yeah, for sure.
He reads like a history teacher.
Yeah. Yeah, they were definitely helpful to me when I couldn't talk to anybody else about this, because like there must be people at that point in their life still right now who are just not wanting to talk about it, but they're kind of processing it. Maybe they're watching YouTube. The more of us who come on here, they're going to be like, oh, I remember Vanessa, or oh, I remember Danny. Like, oh, okay.
Oh, that's why he was so weird.
He could be weird like us.
I would love as some random I just think of all the people that like would be like really would resolve a lot of questions for them.
I had a dream last night about my first boyfriend who's been in the Sea Org for 20 years.
Ooh, was that a good dream or a bad dream? And I'm just cringing at 20 years.
It was actually a good dream, but I really woke up feeling like, fuck, man, like this guy's been in the Sea Org for 20 years and he was so talented. He was a really good musician, and like that's just his life. Like, I don't know, I feel bad.
What is that? There are every once in a while somebody who actually has a life will throw their life away to join the Sea Org. What is that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Like
recruiters, yeah, the recruiters just get to you. You know, they tell you that this
people that are
prison planet.
Yep.
They show you the videos, the briefing, the propaganda.
That stupid video. Do you remember when he came out with the now that you know what you know, you could just walk out of here and shit yourself.
Oh my God. Or you could just shoot yourself in the head.
Yeah, shoot yourself. That's what it was. Shoot yourself in the head. What is wrong with him?
And we show that to everybody. Like that was the orientation film where you'd get people off the street to go watch it. And they'd be like, well, now that you know, it's up to you to make the choice.
And the balls of and the confidence, that certainty of like the way it was all just sold, you just really believed it. And the people do,
I wonder if Mitch did that video.
He probably did. I'm willing to bet you.
I feel like he did. I feel like he said he did, but
I want to know who was the set designer at the event when David came out as the new leader, making him look like little Hitler with the big fucking pillars. like they were going for Nazi looking. Like it was so crazy.
Someone keeps commenting. I think their screen name is Professor Kakan, and they keep asking where we knew about Target 2. But I'm gonna say it was probably from that event. Because, right?
Sorry. The other guy that spoke at that event, I don't remember his name, but was Pat Broker. He was the guy who was supposed to be the heir apparent and another person that David Miscavige fucked over. He's the one that talked about it. Yeah. He's the one that talked about
him moving on to his.
And I'm pretty sure the point of that is that he had conversations with L. Ron Hubbard that David did not. Whether we believe him or not, whether that's he really did.
He was supposed to leave it to Pat and Annie Broker, and they were really close with him. And then this little monster named
Miscavige. The Miscavige monster.
Yeah. I mean, there's been people who have told me that some kind of announcement went out when he passed away saying, okay, this is going over to Pat and Annie. And then David Miscavige instructed them to go pull the announcements down. Crazy. Like.
And then, when people ask, like, how do they pull the wool over, like, how did people get tricked into joining the thing? Like, how did he do that? Like, how did he pull that off? Like nobody, like he's only 4 feet tall. Nobody could think. What?
I think he's scary. Like he yells a lot and stuff.
Well, he's a Napoleon. Yeah. He learned how to overcompensate for his wee stature at a very young age.
Yes, and the leprechaun.
We represent the Miscavigeville. Anyway. I should write a kid's book about little David Miscavige. Mischievous. Right. David Mischievous.
Powerless to paralyzed.
About how evil little cretin. Oh, what?
Brisket directed it, and there's director's commentary here on why he did the Larry Anderson and Jeffrey Augustine. Oh, okay. So Brisker did do it. That you could just shoot yourself in the head.
Mitch, get out of my head. You know what I mean? Get it out of my fucking head.
I was like 6 though. Like I remember being like,
even yeah. No, with at least I was old enough to hear some of the people who didn't like that there was some dissent.
Oh, okay. I never.
At least I was old enough to hear some people go, that's extreme. I feel like that's very extreme. That's gonna scare people off.
I mean, they eventually did edit it out, but they used it for a really long time.
That's stupid. I don't know what. Well, they got to do that's urgent. The politics does the same thing. The world's falling. It's all going to die tomorrow if you don't elect me or give me your money or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big tent. That's the big tent revival kind of thing.
But I've heard that David lives a very kind of sad life where he's just hiding from people all the time, because he never wants to be served. He always has bodyguards. Like, honestly, it can't be comfortable to live like that. I'm thankful that we don't have to live like that.
I've thought of that too. Like, he probably doesn't really get to go outside very much. He probably thinks he doesn't want to. He's convinced himself he wants to be alone anymore.
And there is a whole other side to the fact that, and people have talked about this a lot, but he was a child of Scientology as well himself, right? Mm-hmm. His father got him in because he had very bad asthma. That was what it was. And they thought it was going to be a cure for his asthma. So and
he's probably anemic too. He's probably anemic too. It's guys like that like create the vampire legends. Anemic asthmatics with Napoleonic complexes. They jump out of the bushes at people and people believe they're zombies. That's why. Guys like that.
Interview with the Vampire. He probably just stuck on Tom Cruise's character, his boy.
I forgot all about it. Forgot he was Lestat. That's right. Oh, Schmucko.
It was so good. Oh. Brisker seems rather proud of the power of the line. The commentary pieces on. Okay. Well, he should be proud of it. It's insane. It really
technically, I'm sure it's technically very good work. I don't know. Content matter? Does content matter? I don't know.
I mean, he's the only person who's ever been able to make a whole bunch of money, not join the Sea Org, but then be treated like a Sea Org member.
Right. Right. He's got all the benefits, none of the downfall, none of the downside.
Yeah, he made hundreds of thousands of dollars and actually was a normal person, which is super weird and trippy. I did not think anybody who was not in the Sea Org even was privy to stuff like that.
To which stuff?
The
videos?
Oh,
the stuff that he was privy to.
Stuff that he was privy to, like sitting it with Miscavige and eating his fancy meals and his, things like that.
Yeah, the inside. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's inner circle stuff. Yeah. And I'm sure David probably tried to make friends along the way. He tried to include people in that so that he wasn't so lonely.
Yeah.
But now who knows?
It's kind of wild when people talk about how much money he spends and it trips me out. Still, it's hard to believe that there's somebody who's taking that money and spending it on his Ducatis.
That is something I've said in defense back in the day of Scientology, is that nobody's making money off of it. Mm-hmm. Nobody's getting rich off of this. It's not like that. I believe that for a long time. But it is kind of it's a game though, because they have to run it like a nonprofit. So it's just all about buying up buildings and properties, investing in itself, rather than doing public work. And then Tom Cruise gets an award from what?
They have to spend a certain amount of their money, and so they just put it in property every year. Right. So they don't.
Or they put it in scam, public service stuff. There was some. And then Tom Cruise gets himself a fucking humanitarian award from France for being such a groovy guy, or whatever the fuck it is. I don't even know.
Oh, so it's a trip. In LA, when we had a mayor runoff, we had 2 candidates, Bass and Caruso. Have you heard about this?
Wait, in California?
Yeah, in LA.
Okay, no.
Okay, so we basically...
I recognize this.
Caruso ran these commercials saying Karen Bass supports the Church of Scientology because she had spoken at one of their things. So then Karen Bass couldn't get far enough away from Scientology. She started running ads about how she wasn't part of it at all, whatever. So she apparently met with Leah and Mike and said, like, this is our mayor in LA right now, Karen Bass. And she apparently met with Leah and Mike and said, I want to help you to stop the abuses, right? And so I was stoked to hear that.
I didn't think that's where this story was headed. Okay, that's good news.
That's where it's headed. Good news, right? But get this. The Olympic flag pass off, Tom Cruise has to hand it to her. She has to hand it to him in this whole big deal that he's doing. Yeah, he's doing a stunt.
Because he's doing a stunt for the closing ceremony, right?
Yeah.
So he's taking, oh my God.
So there's going to be an awkward moment.
To say the least, we should protest it. We should be there.
Isn't that? Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
That is nuts. Oh, that's nuts. So that's cool though. Maybe at least she'll give him a dirty look or something.
He always seems to make it about him, doesn't he?
Well, I think that's the narcissist in him, right? That's the thing.
He's a monster. I just hate that while his daughter was graduating high school, he's at a Taylor Swift concert
with Danny Masterson associated people, right? Mm-hmm. Wasn't he with? I can't remember their names now. Mila Kunis.
Mila and Ashton.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, who have come in defense of. They kind of retracted their defense of, but they did come out in defense of. So that seems like a bit of a signal too. Or is he pretending like he doesn't know?
He'll probably pretend like he doesn't know, but
that's the funny part.
But if she's an SP now,
Masterson.
Oh shit. Hi, Witness. Witness said, I saw an article that Bijou was dating someone. Wow.
Bijou Phillips.
Interesting.
She used to be cool. I wouldn't be surprised if she blew up now that she's out of his universe.
One of my close friends did her hair for a while back in the day and said she was just absolutely wild. Absolutely.
That was kind of what the people that I know who really, really love her, girls who really, really love her. That's why they love her. Mm-hmm. She was the wild that other girls could never pull off. Like Kirsten Dunst can't really pull that off the way that Bijou could. That kind of thing.
That's true. That's very true. It's a certain image. I'm sad about Mila and Ashton, to be honest, because I really like
Mila Kunis.
All this.
Yeah, I really like Mila Kunis a lot. Ashton Kutcher, he's all right.
Really big fan of Ashton Kutcher's movies. When I really think about it, there's a lot that I liked.
I don't even know.
Like the Butterfly Effect. Oh my God, it was so good.
That's a great script. That's a great script. Yeah. That's a great, really well written piece. I don't think that's a great movie though. I have major issues with that film.
Hater.
But it's a very good piece of writing, and I know why people like it. And I like it too. It's a very interesting piece of writing.
It was a good story.
But I think Dude, Where's My Car? I think is all I've seen.
That was really good too. When it first came out, it was hilarious.
Dude, where's my car? Dude, what's it say? Dude. God. No.
Yeah, no. I laughed really hard when that came out, though.
Yeah, I thought the Pauly Shore was funny once too, and then
that's true, didn't we all? and then we grew up.
That's horrible.
She said Bijou is dating Jamie Mazur. I saw it in a magazine about a month ago. Interesting, because they were speculating that she was dating Masterson's little brother, who I knew, Jordan. But I think that was
got a couple of little brothers.
Paparazzi, yeah. I think that was just the paparazzi.
I don't know Jamie Mazur. Who is Jimmy Mazur?
Yeah, I don't either. I don't know.
Jimmy Mazur.
I hope she does, good. I hope she's a victim of this whole thing too. It can't have been good for her.
When Nicole Kidman divorced Tom Cruise, her career blew up. She had a string of big hits, some of the most critically acclaimed work of her career, and I think 2 Academy Award nominations. As soon as she got away from him. So Bijou, I'm rooting for you.
We're rooting for you, Bijou. I also just read that Katie Holmes, now that her daughter Suri is 18, she's shopping for a tell-all about her life with Tom and leaving. Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna dance.
That's how I feel too.
Oh, that's so much fun. That's gonna be fun.
I know. Isn't that incredible?
Did I tell you that I used to run into her in New York City when she first left him, and she was staying at she was doing a play. She was doing something on Broadway, and she was living on like 26th Street and 7th Avenue. And I was in a shelter in the same neighborhood, which is bizarre, but that's New York City for you. And I used to pass her every once in a while. And no, this is the best. I haven't told you the story. Oh my God. I used to pass her every once in a while. And this is a very New York City thing to do, to walk to the theater. That's why, that's one of the reasons why people want to go do a play on Broadway and live nearby and that kind of thing. And a couple of times I would see her, and then like halfway down the block, I would see these kind of guys that were either incels or Sea Org members. They could either be nerdy fans who just were trying to work up the nerve to talk to her, or, OSA stalkers. And this was confirmed though by citing with them twice. I don't know his name, but he's Tom Cruise's cousin, and he was in a movie with Sissy Spacek. Do you know who I'm talking about? He looks like a tall redneck version of Tom Cruise. And he was in a movie with Sissy Spacek. I can IMDb it, no problem. It's not that big. But I knew him because he was a patient at Shaw and because he was in this movie. And he was one of those guys stalking Katie Holmes in New York City when she was doing whatever she was doing on Broadway.
And she had already cut the cord, and
she was already gone. She was gone. She'd moved to New York City. She was gone. And they were following around New York City.
Nicole really needs to speak up, as does
I know. I'd love to hear what some stuff. Nicole, maybe if Katie writes something, says something, maybe Nikki will say something too. Hey, Nikki, fellow gingers unite.
No, I've heard people be like super mad at her for not saying anything, because it's like, yeah, you got out, but like, what about all the kids?
Right. And I think there was this notion at first that she didn't want to say nothing because of the other kids, because of Claire and I forget the boy's Connor, right? But they're full grown now. They're adults, right? How old are they?
I don't know if they ever see their mom though. They're never.
No, they don't. They don't. I'm pretty sure they don't. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But I presume that's why, you could say maybe that's why she didn't say anything for a while. And now she's all in love with her life, so we'll leave her alone. Or Keith Urbain, or Urbain Keith, or whatever he's called.
Yeah, Connor and Isabella, exactly. Those are their names.
I said Claire. Who's Claire?
Why
Isabella.
Yeah, who's Claire? Why is Bijou considered out because her child got communion, yet Sky Daly is still considered in when she and her kids were baptized with Hulk Hogan? I actually don't know who Sky Daly is.
Yeah, I don't know the Sky Daly story. I know Time.
Never heard that name. Hulk Hogan lives in Clearwater, though. I used to see him on the beach.
Oh, that explains it. That's why he's the ridiculous meme of Hulk Hogan ripping his shirt open at the RNC matched with that scene from I can't remember the name of the movie, but the Beavis and Butthead guy. What's his name? Oh, I can't remember his name. The guy who does Beavis and Butthead, he made a movie, and I can't remember what it's called. And Maya Rudolph is in it, but she's not really famous for. That's not what. But the guy who plays the president in that, his name is Cruz, I think. He's a football player, or he's a wrestler, and he's an actor now, and he's a very good actor. But he started out as a wrestler, or a football player, or both. I forget. And
Everyone says it's Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. That's what it's called. Thank you. So, I feel like that was yet again living one of the beats from that movie. That movie was very, very prophetic. Once again, a brilliantly written movie, but not as well made as it could have been. Imagine if Steven Spielberg had made that movie. Oh no, you have to. You have to. Mike Judge, that's his name. The guy who made Beavis and Butthead. This is the movie he made, and I think he also does King of the Hill. Oh,
I love that show. I randomly love that show.
It's a good show. It's a good show, King of the Hill. Oh, you mean
Family Guy is funny too.
I love Family Guy. That was one of the interesting things about staying in in a halfway house in Spanish Harlem. Because it's like I was living at this place called Esperanza, which means hope, I think, in Spanish. And there was this common room with a big TV, right? And there was a lot of fighting over the TV, right? But there was like very few uniting things that everybody liked, and Family Guy is one of them. And I think I always thought that was really interesting. That of all the fighting contest, and tough guys. These are all hard guys who don't want to stand down, right? But Family Guy, Wendy Williams, they all love Wendy Williams. I don't know why they
I will say at my work, it's fascinating to see what people watch. Like, because they'll come and it's typically we're dealing with like 16 people who are experiencing houselessness. They're with us until they can find something more permanent. And they come from all different backgrounds, usually straight from holds. So it is fascinating to watch what they put on the TV and like what they want to do on the internet. It fascinates me. Like
I would everything from what was the I can't remember what it was fucking called, the glittery vampire movies with the glittery vampire and the werewolf fighting over the pretty girl, the anemic girl. True Blood. See, that's a better answer. You get credit for that. That's a better answer. That's a good one. But the other one. Oh. The more main. Yes, that stupid show. Those guys watch Twilight, but then they also would watch videos of just dudes working out. You ever seen these videos of dudes working out, but like in playgrounds, like using like playground equipment to work out, like that kind of thing?
They're getting ready for their one day.
Their prison yard body.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It'll be crazy. Sometimes they'll all be eating breakfast, just watching like a horror movie. I'm like, you guys don't want to watch something else? Like the news is never on. It's always like really scary shit.
Well, yeah, they want stimulation. Terry Crews, Fat Grammy. Terry Crews, he plays the president. Thank you very much. I'm sorry I couldn't remember his name. But and he plays the president, and he rips his shirt open the same way Hulk Hogan ripped his shirt open at the RNC, and it's ridiculous. Like we're actually living, and that movie is about how people stopped learning, just got dumber and dumber and dumber. And so a guy who's of average intelligence today finds himself in this future where everybody's stupid and he's the smartest person in the world. And he's just a couch potato dope. He's not even,
Yeah.
And I keep wanting to say it's Ewan McGregor, but it's not Ewan McGregor. It's Bottle Rockets, and it's one of those Wes Anderson guys, the brothers, but I can't remember his fucking name. Anyway, whatever. I'm losing it, Vanessa.
We got some news today with Kamala's pick.
Oh, vice president? Who'd she pick?
Somebody who I had no information on, actually.
Shapiro?
He seems cool.
Not Pete Buttigieg.
He was a teacher, and he was in the service for like 20-something years in the Marine Corps.
Not the astronaut. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure who that is.
And he was a teacher. I forget the name, but it came up on my Instagram, actually. And the guy was talking, and they already have something like filmed for him. Oh, Walls.
Yeah, that's the one name I've been seeing things about like 8 different people, and I don't think that's one of them. I'm not sure who that is.
Yeah.
Well, I hope she chose wisely. The idea of the vice presidency is like the vice president pick is supposed to balance out your ticket. So if your president is one thing, then you want to put something on the other side. And that's where like I feel like Democrats often do it wrong, where they double down on stuff. But this was the one time I wanted them to with Pete Buttigieg. But that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Missed opportunity.
Yes.
So she picked some other white guy.
Yeah, he said he's worked with Republicans on bills before to get them passed, stuff like that.
So he's a Republican whisperer. That's useful. That's useful. Yeah, they don't even know how to. They have no idea how to talk to her. And did you see Donald Trump trying to act like he knows something about what it means to be black.
Yeah.
That was the
I
most
just can't with this guy.
ridiculous thing in the world. I watched that whole thing. And that guy is such a child. He is such a bratty little child.
Well, and he won't even debate her. Like, he pulled out of the debate that was scheduled by ABC News.
I wanted Buttigieg to witness.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah. He pulled out of the debate. Well, yeah, of course. Well, now he's the doddering old man. Now he's the silly old man. Apparently he poos his pants. They just got to push it. Just push it. And I hate it, but push it. He's old. I watched the whole thing, a whole troop of psychiatrists going, he is unfit. He is literally crazy. Stop doing this to him.
Yeah. Our country's wild. But it makes sense. He's like the LRH of politics.
Well, that's exactly what it is. And right now, he's just trying to save his own ass. I think the only reason he's going through all of this right now is because he's trying to get out of the legal trouble he's in. And all of that is because he just doesn't give a shit, because he just, boom, 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 boom. You know, this idea that a president's supposed to have immunity, that's what he's talking about. So someone like him or someone like him can just do whatever the fuck they want with no idea of the consequences, never mind worrying about them.
So crazy. So crazy. I mean, I just can't believe we had him once, let alone we might have to deal with him twice.
You know what I didn't understand at the time that I understand better now is that TV show, The Apprentice. Like, that show really sold people on this idea that he was a boss and he was going to get things done and he knew how to get people to you know, no. Those people, the guys that made that show, speaking of people who need to do a tell-all, the guys that made that show, they know what a fucking buffoon he is. They have hours and hours and hours of footage of him being an idiot.
Oh, I'm sure. I watched that show. I liked it the first season. I was like, oh, this is great. And then I don't know what happened. It got out of control.
The only thing I knew about it was the way like Kathy Griffin and Rosie O'Donnell, people like that, made fun of it because they've been on it. That's all I knew about it. Was through through Kathy Griffin, Rosie O'Donnell, and Joan Rivers. That's all.
They were on it, or they just talked about it?
I'm pretty sure all three of them were on that. I know Joan Rivers was. Joan and Melissa both. I know her on it. I'm pretty certain Kathy Griffin was. I don't know. Maybe Rosie wasn't. But those two have had a feud since like the 80s.
Oh, that's funny. She said, I've heard Burnett will not release the footage from The Apprentice. Yeah.
But we know he has it is the point. We know he has it. And they've said that. That's a good
point.
They have said publicly that it took them hours of footage to cut down to 10 minutes of him looking like a boss. And that's the trick of reality television. Reality television is not real. I was, like I said before, I went through a whole thing with The Voice and another thing too, actually. And I've read these contracts, and it says in the contract, it doesn't say we reserve the right to misrepresent you. It says we will misrepresent you. We are making a TV show and building narrative, and whatever works. Go fuck yourself if you don't like it. It says it right there in black and white. Yeah. So anybody who complains about, they told you they were going to misrepresent you. That's the joke.
What happened when you went to The Voice? You didn't even get in front of somebody, right?
I'm not supposed to talk about it. I don't think I'm supposed to talk about it, actually. They actually make you sign a thing. I mean, it was like years ago, and the show, I don't think is even on the air anymore, but they actually do make you sign a do not resuscitate. No, a do not disturb. No, wait. A do not repeat in public. I don't know what it's called. Yeah. DNR.
DNR.
Do not repeat. Oh, maybe it's Latin. I don't know. But it's a process, is my point. They have a whole process to it. And I didn't make it to the chairs. They really wanted me to. They liked me. They liked me a lot. And I'll tell you, there was some really cool women running a lot of that stuff. There was some really awesome women. There was a woman in particular who ran casting, who I really, really was really impressed with. And I thought, she could be president.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
My girlfriends tried out for it, and they said it was just a huge waste of time. They spent the whole day.
Well, the cattle call. There's the great big cattle call.
Yeah.
That's where people usually start, right? And I actually
you got recruited?
Well, no, both things. I went to a cattle call years ago. because of Russell. And I sang, "You make me feel like a natural woman." But but a woman in my little group nailed Whitney Houston's "Don't Make Me Cry," close no one more door, I ain't gonna cry no more. And that's a really hard song to sing, and she fucking nailed it. And they were like, "Yep, you can go," and everybody else was like, they just take one person per group, which isn't to say that I was all good enough, but that was the deal. But then, like, it was 3 years later they called me up because they didn't know how to get in touch with me. And then somebody was like, because they were trying to, and then somebody was like, "Well, maybe he's in our thing." And they looked up their records, and there I was.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and that's how they found me, which I thought was cool.
That is really cool.
Yeah, that was a compliment, if nothing else. And I wish I could remember Sarah's sister's name, but I don't.
Was it because the viral video? Had they seen that?
Because I'm a creep. I'm a weirdo. I'm a weirdo. What the hell am I doing
I saw that like Opie or Anthony, I think it's Opie, has YouTube now and was releasing more things.
Was saying what?
Was just releasing things, newer things or whatever.
That's like he does a stream sometimes or something. He's got a condo.
Get you on with him. That'd be interesting.
I don't know the details, but I think he might have gotten divorced because it looks like he's living in a condo in New York City, and I don't think he used to. He wasn't before. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's just his office or something because he does. They don't have the. I don't think he's not on Sirius XM anymore.
Oh.
I suppose. I don't know what. Hit him up and just say what. I'm just hanging out.
Be like, I have a YouTube. Let's chat sometime.
I feel like that. I want to like save that for when I actually have something to like promote or have something to, because they always say like, "So what are you doing?" And I'm like, I write a lot of songs. I got a rainbow connection.
You know what I was thinking about when you and Poe were talking, because you were talking about like, you don't know how to do the recordings all that well and blah, blah, blah. Community colleges have really good classes on like Pro Tools and stuff if you ever get the interest.
Yeah, even public libraries in New York City have stuff like that.
Oh, wow.
Somebody is coming over tomorrow and help me with this. He just sent me a link for it. Whoops. Am I still there?
Yeah, you're still there. I can still see you.
FL Studio.
Oh, cool.
So I just downloaded that. I'm going to look at that and see if I can figure that out. And he's going to show me some stuff tomorrow.
Yeah, so, then you can get at least a little EP out or something.
Something. I just want to get, I don't know. It's just, I don't feel like I'm I don't want to play on it. I don't feel like I'm a good enough musician.
Well, it's bullshit.
Well, no, but there are better musicians. There really are. I'm not being self-deprecating. I mean, like there is.
Of course. But like as a listener who's not a musician, sometimes it really is all about the soul of the song and not the technicalities, No,
I know. And I would just like to get them both. Because the comes, but I'll call soul.
Yeah.
That's just there. So, and that is, and then like I'm saying, when I'm in that and I'm there, and then I forget what I'm doing over here. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's the thing. And very few people can do that effectively at the same time.
Yeah, that's really hard.
And, that's why most of the great singers don't usually play while they sing.
Yeah. The chat says you are so talented. You got soul. Ain't that true?
That's a soul, man. I got soul. That just means that's the constellation rainbow. I got soul because I got pain.
Yeah, right.
Oh, straight through the heart.
You go to therapy now?
I do. I have an appointment Thursday.
Oh, good. I got a therapy too. I had one today.
I feel like we're doing one of those commercials for that app. Therapy's so important because I think that they're just so casual. It's just such like that girl has such a nice life. And like if I had her life and her apartment and those shoes, I'd be fine.
We wouldn't need therapy. Okay.
Like, she's so sometimes I just got to, I feel down. So.
A little
or I love the one where she's like, I just checked and I've been my therapist for 3 years. It's like, okay, that's a thing to recognize, but like, is it that exciting? Is it like, Are we gonna bake a cake?
Celebrate
I
it. Celebrate it.
I don't really know what the relationship with the therapist is supposed to be. I suppose there's an expectation there, but I don't really know what it is.
I feel like it's always different with every therapist I have. It's always
yeah,
different.
but I grew up in the 90s watching weird movies, so my expectation is that you're supposed to have a crazy crush on your therapist, or your therapist is supposed to be fucking you or something.
Some kind of affair.
Right, something weird is supposed to be going on there. So that's my expectation, and then I get Scientology telling me they're all evil demons anyway.
Oh my God. Yeah, they're basically Nazis.
So of course they're fucking all their patients. Of course.
Yeah.
And Freud was a cokehead, and Jung was a pervert. So whatever.
Yeah, and the Holocaust was started by psychiatrists, according to Scientology, because that totally makes sense.
Well, there was some psychiatrists involved. I think I don't know. Was Goebbels and Mengele, those people?
Well, there were, but like at a very non-Hitler level, like.
And what was Hitler's problem? Micropenis.
He really
hyperspadia. Yeah. Same problem David Miscavige has.
See, well, that's what, when you really look at that shit, it drives me crazy because that's exactly what Scientology does. It's like they're weeding out they don't care about DBs, right? It's literally like Hitler weeding out the blonde-haired, blue-eyed people. They're like, they just don't give a shit about anybody except for approved by them.
Well, I think that they just approve of anybody who will yield to their will, kind of. You know what I mean? Like it's not right. That's the criteria.
Yeah.
You know, it's whoever they can, bully around, force, or cajole, or blackmail. Like in the early day, it was a lot of that kind of stuff. Like everything in your PC folder was being held against you. Like, oh, we know all your secrets. That supposedly was why John Travolta stayed and didn't come out forever and ever, was because the church knew all his dirt. And I don't even know
that is true.
Yeah, I think so too, probably. Well, like according to John Atack, 7 of the first 10 clears were openly gay men. And L. Ron Hubbard let them go because he had nothing to hold against them. He had nothing to use against them because they were openly gay.
Wow.
He wanted the repressed people. He wanted the people with secrets, people hiding things, right? Those are the people I think he hooks in. Or hooked in.
I always thought it was so ludicrous to look at all the people who were on post. All those people had left the church. That was always like a big argument for me. Like, what the fuck? These are supposed to be the most theta. All
the hand-selected people, right?
Yeah, or they were all taken off post by Miscavige too.
And there's something in that, and this is what a coup really is, right? Because there used to be a balance of power in the org board. Mm-hmm. There used to be different branches. There was three things. I can't even remember. I used to know this, but I don't remember it as much well. But there used to be 3 things, and he just he made himself the executor of all 3 branches or something.
It was like the Guardian's office. Different parts that were supposed to oversee.
And there was a committee involved as well, like a Supreme Court kind of thing. Yeah. But he took all that apart. And the purser, I think, is part of this. But he took it all apart, and he just made himself. And that literally is a coup. That is literally what a coup is. Is one.
I think he disbanded, or he started RTC instead of the whatever it was before.
Well, he's always. I mean, that L. Ron Hubbard was working people to death too.
Yeah.
But presumably he was doing it for their own good, or to train them.
But honestly, it is
soldiers.
Much easier to make the argument to people that David Miscavige perverted the tech than it is that Ron was just an asshole, because nobody wants to hear that.
And John had mentioned that there's people out there like that. I certainly definitely, that's where I was for a long time. And the Alex Gibney movies seem to really confirm that. And it's funny when I said that to Renee recently, and she said that's where her father is at now. Like after 30 years of being in denial, like he's finally gotten to the place of, well, David Miscavige messed it up. It's not the tech, it's not Ron, but he's still defending Ron.
There's a lot of what they call independent Scientologists or indies, which in the church we would have called them squirrels.
Exactly. Yeah, Squirrel Nation. That's crazy. We should check that out. We should have one of those people on. Do they have a representative?
They're interesting. I think Aaron Smith-Levin's mom is one, to be honest. I think she still audits, because it's almost like what are you gonna do? They still believe in the man. They just not all the creepy trappings, I guess. I don't know.
I
It
don't
doesn't
think
make
it's
sense
I
to
don't know.
me.
Even if there's things to like salvage, I don't think it's worth it. I don't think it's worth the downsides.
I don't think so either.
And I honestly feel like all the things that I still believe in, that I feel like I learned from that, I have replaced with like other places and other theologies and other ideas and other minds. Other people have said very similar things. You know, Carl Sagan says a lot of similar stuff too.
Yes.
I'll go with that, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. The Buddha says a lot of similar stuff too. I'll stick with him.
But don't you know, L. Ron Hubbard was Buddha?
Oh God! And apparently he invented music. Like, 16 quadrillion clactites ago or some shit.
Wow, we were so lucky.
He was the third entity to exist, and he invented music or some shit.
It's absolutely insane. That's crazy.
And it is like a schizophrenic delusion, like. You know, people who go on that sort of like what a friend of mine calls the biosphere or the biofrost. Like you go on this kind of journey in the mind, and it's delusional and crazy. And if you're Stephen King, you write it down, right? But you know it's fiction. You know, he tricked himself into believing his meanderings, or he just knew he was lying and tricked other people into believing his meanderings.
Yeah, I think he believed it. I think he was trying to heal himself. But he knew he was like a shitty person. Like I've read newspaper articles at the time about him kidnapping his child, beating his ex-wife. Like that was in the newspaper in the 60s. Like he was just a shitty guy too, which is hard to believe because he
let one of his wives take the fall for him, go to jail.
Yeah, Mary Sue was his last wife
that we know of. Don't trust the hype, Vanessa. Don't believe the hype.
That's so
stay
true.
Out of the,
Imagine all the things we don't know.
Do we even need to know? I think he was a messed up old guy at the end.
Yeah, he was on psych drugs. I remember at the time being like, when I finally read his autopsy report, being like, what the actual fuck? This guy had psychotropic medications in his body after everything that
did he have methamphetamines?
No, I wish he did.
Because that's how he does. He reads like a meth head so bad.
Totally.
Oh no! Don't compare
it to that. Yeah. You're good at it. That's what sounds great.
It's a coke thing. Like when people who do a lot of coke and they get into this like grindy jaw thing. And he does it. He totally does it. And it's just like
he always talked about his pink and whites, whatever that was.
Oh, I'll have to get somebody really OG, somebody really old school to figure that out. Pink and whites, blackberries, black beauties. There were black beauties, and
they were like, Quaaludes, I think, and things of that.
Quaaludes apparently were like the best drug. Apparently, everybody I know who used to take Quaaludes, they missed the Quaaludes. It was just a very soothing, very calming sort of Valium kind of chill, but it wasn't.
There are also people who took roofies as like recreation. Like I have an ex-boyfriend who was like, yeah, we used to take roofies for fun. I was like, what? It was a party drug?
That's like people who take Xanax or sleeping pills and then try to stay awake and like dope out on that. Stupid. Oh, the amazing, bizarre things humans will do to anesthetize and quiet the voices.
Right?
Oh my goodness. Quiet.
Ron just wrote him down. He just wrote down what.
That's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. He wrote it all down. And maybe that was his mental health. For Catholics, they confess. And for artists, we spit it out in some fucked up way and whatever he was doing. I think he thought himself an artist, certainly.
Oh, for sure, which is weird. Like, why would he think of himself as an artist?
He made a record. He made a couple, I think.
I forgot. I think he was dressed like a cowboy, too.
I write just for you.
Oh, my God.
I'm probably not allowed to sing that.
That's really bad. Is that really his song?
Yeah, that was him. That was the song he sang. And then he did something. I remember hearing something he did before that, like in the 70s, even like a long time ago. with like a funk band. Like he wanted to be
Well,
G-funk or something.
Manson also recorded some music.
Oh yeah, he had and Guns N' Roses did a cover of one of his songs. I think that's why he was like Isaac Hayes and Chick Corea, like some of those guys, like they were into this sort of the psychedelic music of the time, and I think that was Ron's vibe.
Chick Corea is why my dad got into Scientology. He was
Yeah,
like, "Oh, if Chick does it."
Chick Corea did lend it a lot of credibility.
Yeah.
And then stupid Isaac quit that show, quit South Park.
I know. That's so unfortunate, you know? That was a huge scandal when the South Park came out, though. It was huge. Like, I couldn't get away from kids making fun of us.
That was probably, yeah, you were still in when that happened. Oh, shit. Come out of the closet, Vanessa. Come out of the closet. Come out of the closet, everybody. Come out.
Trapped in the closet.
Right, trapped in the closet, which is also an R. Kelly thing.
I know. Shout out to Kells.
And then, no, but then because he quit, he quit the show, which was stupid. It was a really good show.
It was.
And I was so disappointed. I remember just being really disappointed. I was like so disappointed.
I think his family like sued the church or tried to because that was like his only income, and he ended up
he died
because of that. Yeah,
and then he since died.
Yeah, and then he died a few years later. But he could have had it, you know, his lifestyle the way he was used to it. But I guess because the church made him quit, that wasn't a thing.
I don't know. These people.
Did you ever see Kirstie Alley, Cece?
God, I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember. I never interacted with her. If I, yeah, I would remember. But
do you remember the Renaissance restaurant?
I remember a few of its incarnations. Not for nothing.
Yeah.
There was a couple other things before that. The first time I ever had caviar was there, and it's awful. Why do people eat that? I don't know. No, yeah, we used to go to brunch there and stuff, and then until they opened the pavilion, and then that's where people did stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I used to feel so fancy in there. It was so fancy.
It's funny. See, I remember even when it was frumpy, when the whole place was like run down and dumpy before they renovated, before they turned it into the Manor Hotel, and it was Sea Org birthing. Sea Org people lived in that building.
Weird.
But it was all.
It used to be like an actual hotel that Hollywood glamour people would stay at back in the day.
The building was built by William Randolph Hearst, who was the newspaper magnate in like the 20s and 30s, who was like the Citizen Kane, the character in Citizen Kane is based on him. And he built Hearst Castle, which is up the coast, which is a bizarre and fascinating thing. And he built a lot of things, and he also built the Leonard Cohen, who wrote Everybody Knows, dabbled in Scientology. He was not.
Yeah.
Him and Van Morrison both, they moved on. They did not stick around.
I have a quote from Leonard Cohen's song about Scientology tattooed on my body, actually. There's a song called Famous Blue Raincoat. You've heard it, right?
Yeah.
I have lyrics to that tattooed. It says, "Well, I see Jane's awake. She sends her regards."
What's that a reference to?
Tattooed on me. The last line is like, "Did you ever go clear?" So Jane woke up. And so they had to send regards instead of having, a real conversation because everybody's disconnected.
That's so weird.
Would you be able to make a parody of this song and substitute Scientology?
I would never parody Leonard. No, I have too much respect for Everybody Knows. And Concrete Blonde, who do an incredible cover of Everybody Knows, is one of my all-time favorite bands. A parody. I write songs about Scientology. Yeah. But I'm not trying to be obvious about it.
Well, that would be a great album.
I know, right? I should do that. I should do the Xenu the musical.
Leaving Xenu. I consider myself Xenu's princess.
The princess, the queen of Terminal 2.
Yeah, Target 3 actually.
Target, that's it. Target 2. Terminal. Oh God, we're gonna go close. We're gonna go shut down all the implant stations, baby. Get it done. Right.
Just the fact that we called human beings terminals. Like if you had a friend, they'd be your terminal. It's like so creepy. It makes people into not people.
You know what's funny to me is when my mother was like a little older and she got a job where she had to use a computer interface at some point. And she had trouble with languages like terminal, where it's like interface and terminal. She kept coming. Anyway, that's funny. Yeah, terminal. Yeah, right. Yeah, because everything was clinical. It's this weird clinical kind of way. The disassociated, the disemotional. I wanted to ask you about the disassociation.
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's part of the TRs. Isn't that what they're kind of training you to do?
100%. As well as when you remember past lives. Did you ever hear him say that the Thetan is 3 feet behind the head? Right. And so in
and
session,
acting teachers use that too.
Yeah. In session, it was called going something when you like not dropping your body, but you're like outside of your body.
Going exterior.
Going exterior. So that is the definition of fucking disassociation. So we were really encouraged to do it. And there's a whole slew of disorders and problems that can go along with dissociation.
Yeah, and especially if you're a child of abuse and you learn to dissociate for really bad reasons, and then you're encouraged to do it more. No, this really fucks me up to figure this out. And also, I think this is why all the rote memorization of everything, so that you can disassociate but still kick out the jams, right? You can
and just being above 2.0 on the tone scale at all times. Right. So you're disassociating from your emotion regardless. You know, like we literally were taught not to deal with a feeling. We had it's still a challenge for me. I keep a feelings wheel on my wall because I want to like be able to put a word to what I'm experiencing, but I'm not used to it. And that's really bad. Like most people don't just go to disassociation first.
Like I don't know how to I don't know how to be excited. Like when I'm excited, I get scared. It registers as anxiety. So like
really,
even when something is exciting, I get anxious. I don't even get excited.
Yeah, I get a lot of anxiety as well. I was telling my therapist every day I get this pit of doom in my stomach. It's just
It's like a big heavy laser boulder or something.
Yeah, I start journaling. Whenever that happens, I'll write like 10 pages in my journal. I'll just write whatever comes to mind and they'll make myself go through it. But it's not fun.
Write it down. No, I sing it, right? I sing it out. That's why I guess that's my version of journaling. I should probably journal. I do. I start every once in a while. I start writing, I'll write 2 pages and then I forget about it. Or then it's something I'm writing about, I'll start writing a song about, and then I forget all about writing it. That's what happens. Anytime I start to journal, I get kicked in. I end up writing songs.
Start writing a song. But that makes sense. You're a musician. That's where your mind goes.
It just, it doesn't. Anyway, what else do you want to talk about?
Are you gonna play us a song today?
I didn't really expect to, but I didn't really do anything or prepare anything except I could do Rainbow Connection if you want to hear it.
Yeah, I would love to hear it.
Do Rainbow. I think everybody's heard this one already. I have it. It was interesting learning. It's interesting to me learning songs because the rhythm is all different. Anyways.
Yeah. When you play, I make it just you so people don't have to watch me listening to it. But I'll be back. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere.
Don't go.
I won't go.
I'm taking the headphone out too.
Okay.
Dragging my chair around. I forgot I'm not. wearing pants, so I suddenly realized I can't get up. So I just end up dragging the chair across the floor. Pardon me, everybody.
It's cool. No need for pants.
It's really hot in here.
I get it.
It's hot in here. I can't take off all my clothes. So I did promise nudity, but not yet. Not yet.
Not yet. All live, all nude.
All live, all nude. That's an Albert Brooks reference. That's a reference to an Albert Brooks movie.
Did you ever LOL?
Did you ever see Defending Your Life?
No.
That is a must see. You have to see this.
Okay.
It's a great take on the afterlife.
Oh.
That I think you'll at least find amusing. And Meryl Streep's in it. And she's amazing. Doesn't everybody want to see Meryl Streep do what she does as much as you can?
Always.
She's very, very good. Next one. You pushed me down the stairs. I should do that.
I have 2 movies now: Idiocracy and Defending Your Life. Both gotta watch.
Oh, I could add to that list. And Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid.
Beau is Afraid. Joaquin Phoenix.
Sounds great.
Those are the jams.
Today's 3 movies.
Today's special is about to appear. All right, I'm gonna sing this song.
Right,
I'm taking the headphone.
Yes.
Oh, that was the thing. It's a funny little. It's a. Why so many songs about rainbows, and what's on the other side? The rainbows are visions, they're only illusion. That's one thing they hide. So somebody told us, some choose to believe. I know it's wrong, just wait now and see. Someday we'll find it, a rainbow connection, lovers and dreamers and me. Mm-hmm. Oh, said that every wish will be heard and granted when made on a falling star. Some dumbass thought of that, some dumber believed them. Look where it's gotten them so far. Now it's so amazing and keeps us stargazing. What did you expect to find? Someday we'll find it, rainbow connection. Someday we'll find it, rainbow connection. Someday we'll find it, our old rainbow connection to lovers and dreamers and you. All right, where do we go? Where do we go now?
Where do we go now? That was really good.
That was really good. I like that.
I really
It's just fun. It's so funny to sing that song like that. Someday we'll find it, this rainbow connection.
It was so good. Look at Everybody Loves You. That was really good. Like chills good.
I need one of those Fozzie Bear scarves. I want a Fozzie Bear scarf. You know, Fozzie Bear, he wears this white, and I love Fozzie Bear. That's my Muppet. I cover Kermit, but really I'm a Fozzie Bear. Who's secretly in love with Kermit. Much.
Oh. The real story behind the Muppets.
The truth behind the frog.
Muppets are the coolest, she says. Yep. I like Muppets too. That was like super good. Maybe my favorite cover I've heard from you in a long time. That was really, really good.
It's fun when a song like kind of works like that, because it's, I don't know, it's not, you know, like the way Kermit sings it. It's not the way Jim Henson sings it.
Yeah. That was the one that Poe liked, yeah?
Yeah. It was a good recommendation. It was like really interesting. It was like right on the nose. And we've been talking about, because today is Beetlejuice.
Oh, I love it.
The new Beetlejuice movie is coming out that I can't afford to go see, but it's okay.
I saw the play last year. It was so good.
Oh, was that Bobert woman there? Oh, no. There's the senator, the woman that got caught jerking off a dude at the Beetlejuice show on Broadway. Jesus. I'm sorry.
Hopefully not the show I was at.
No. This is a while ago. No, but Jim, what was that? Jim Henson.
Beetlejuice.
No, before that. Oh, because a couple weeks ago I had Bluto from Labyrinth.
Oh, yeah.
T-shirt, remember? And that's a Jim Henson movie.
You love Jim Henson.
I think I do love Jim Henson, and I think he's underrated. So like I love him even more than he even deserves. Because
that was cool watching your brother talk to Poe. I hadn't seen an interview with him before.
He's also worried about Scientology being an over-dominating thing about him.
Yeah, I could tell.
I don't think he should, but especially him, he's so fucking a lot of things. You know what I mean?
He has a big resume. There's not, didn't he go to some prestigious
and it's so funny, the legend of that story. Because he was in the Sierra for like 6 years or something, and then he.
Oh shit! Oh yeah, because he was born in, right?
Well, he was born in, and then his mother left, and then he was. I don't know when he officially, signed up. But, you have to actually sign up. So I don't really know exactly when he signed up, but he was in the Sierra for a while, and then he left, and apparently that's just where he was. He was in England, so he just stayed there. But that was I don't know. And then he just figured it out. He got his shit together. Why can't you? Motherfucker put himself through school.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Have you considered getting that shot? Yeah.
I've considered it. Have you?
Yeah.
Do you want it?
Yeah, I've been considering it a lot lately just because it seems like it's been helping people. I would do it. It's just costs money.
Ugh. I don't know why I'm so hesitant, but I don't. I mean, I feel like I probably should just do it.
Well, learning like about the sympathetic nervous system, I had to do that for my undergrad, and so learning, it makes sense what he's saying. It's like the ganglia, and then you shoot it, and you basically are doing a reset. It honestly sounds too good to be true. So,
well, I feel like
nice to see it if it works.
I feel like it's part of a broader conversation. I don't feel like the shots are the thing. I think therapy shots and maybe some yoga, some spirituality, I think is part of this conversation, but that's just me. But I feel like there's a trinity of sorts of things, but I think that this treatment is probably a big deal. I think the idea that it might become something as common as like LASIK surgery or something.
Yeah.
I feel like that could definitely happen, because it sounds to me like particularly people who have tried stuff, people who've been in therapy, who have been on meds, and it's not helping, and then they get the shot, and it's like, whoa, everything changes.
Yeah. I mean,
so
I've been definitely in therapy for like 7 years.
I'm professionally in therapy. I'm professionally in therapy.
Oh, wow. Dennis says, it was the best money I've spent, saved me 8 to 10 months of recovery time. That's pretty freaking awesome. That's good to hear.
Yeah. I hear really good things. And then I have no idea why, what's his name? I just keep forgetting his name. Sheldon Shelton?
Mhm.
Why is he
Mhm.
shitting on it? What is his problem? Is he really just being a bitch?
I don't know about him specifically, but I know that people were saying it was pseudoscience.
Right. That's the nomenclature. Anybody who wants to shoot it down, that's
Yeah.
what they're going to call it. But
Yeah.
why? Like usually there's a motivation behind something like that, and I'm just wondering.
I
If this
think usually when nothing's been done, like when it sounds too good to be true, like no, it's never been done before. So there's always going to be people who are going to be like,
But it's
well,
not like out of the blue, brand new. Like it is a thing that's been around for a while. And the fact of the matter is, the military's been using this procedure for.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like it's not. It's just
yeah,
like this is about getting it to a broader audience, really. But
yeah.
it's not like brand spanking new. It's not out of left field, and I think that it's
Mm-hmm.
a known about. I don't know. It just seems to me it's like if you have an argument about the science, that's one thing. But if your argument is to just say no, nothing, it's nothing. It's a nothing.
Yeah,
It's not nothing. It's already proven itself to be something more
yeah,
than nothing. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So if their argument is it's nothing, I don't know.
yeah.
I don't think that's a real argument.
I mean, I think about what it makes me think about is the things that I could do right now to be calming down my nervous system, like stop chugging my espresso all day, or like the things that I do to contribute to my poor nervous system that's been shot. Like PTSD makes you hyper vigilant. So your nervous system's always on fleek, you know?
Yeah, yeah, I know. Always on fleek. I love that. Yeah.
Yeah. Been
I can't.
used in the military PTSD a long time. I mean, that sounds legit.
Yeah,
It
it
is the first
has.
time
Yeah,
I've ever heard of it. Like
yeah.
pretty
But
recently.
that's where it's at. It's like it's been around for a while. It's been used in certain places for a while, effectively, and it's at this sort of like now bringing it to a broader audience. Where obviously people are always going to say no to a new thing, but it just I was wondering why. What is your argument? I want to hear the argument. If you have an argument, I want to hear it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't seem to have one other than just to call it names, and that's not an argument, right?
Yeah, no, I haven't heard about any downside other than that people have said, they're just not paying for it. Like I heard the foundation, this was what Nora said the other day. She said the Aftermath Foundation at first was on board with it and they were going to help people get it. And then they changed their mind or
Which
something.
which they really should. Yeah, that they just, right, in the, whatever, the power struggles.
Yeah.
In the power struggles that were what became before us. They decided that, and it does feel like just, catty Scientology bullshit. Like they're going to say now, like if they were on board before, that means they recognize this was a good thing for particularly ex-Scientologists, people recovering from Scientology and cult. Then if they're suddenly not on board, it means either they didn't think that before or they've decided that their personal feud is more important than helping people.
Yeah.
So,
or they got advice from an attorney to not pay for healthcare procedures.
Oh, well, okay. Well, don't give them ideas. That's
I mean, that's a thing too. Like that's a liability right there.
I can see that, but like I don't know. I think the liability lies with the practitioner,
the doctor. Yeah,
you're
right.
But I don't know.
So do they need to educate doctors to do it so that more people are doing it, or what's the deal with that? Because I heard your brother say that he's been working with a lot of doctors to get it going.
Yeah, when I was working at Shaw, there were two different things that came through there. Stephen Price, he had his a thing called VaxD, and Dr. Shields was very into a thing called proliferation therapy, and both those things at the time were very, very new things. And there was a whole process, and I watched this whole process of them learning how to do these things, getting excited about it, and like Dr. Price bought a VaxD machine he couldn't afford to buy, and there was some scandal there, but it was a very effective procedure. They were both very effective. So,
what was the VaxD?
VaxD was, I wish I could remember what it was short for. I used to know, but it was a machine, and you hang on, and they belt you in, and it's subluxation. So it does this real soft, subtle pulling your spine and then stretching your spine, then releasing. And it's for relieving slip discs, bulge discs, that kind of stuff. It relieves other things too, but primarily it's for that purpose. It's very good. I had it done. It feels very good. And then proliferation therapy is a reparative therapy for tendons and rib tendons and ligaments. And it's also injections.
Interesting.
But I'm just saying, like, yeah, there's this whole, like, when something like that is developed, and you know, there are people that like make it their business to go places like Shaw Health Center and teach doctors how to do proliferation.
Yeah, I see.
And then Dr. Shields was then later on, like, other doctors from other places would come to watch Dr. Shields do it.
Mm-hmm. So it like passes on. And that's not to say, I mean, Scientologists did a lot of weird shit that was pseudoscience, but they were at least these were real doctors.
Well, they were real doctors. They were, that was not. Look, I wanted to say something about that because it's not that Scientologists are anti-healthcare or anti-science or medicine. It's that they're anti-psychotropics and psychotropics, which then translates to anti-pharmaceutical, which then translates to anti-medical, because a lot of medical is pharmaceutical. So it's really a misunderstanding. It's not even that, you know, by the time we get around to the Shaw Health Center, where you do have Scientologists thinking we're supposed to be anti-medicine, well, except for these guys, it wasn't even the idea. The idea was just about being anti-psych drugs, not just psych drugs, but also like LSD and mind expanding drugs.
Yeah.
They didn't want you expanding anything.
No. And it is the saddest thing to me is that so many people who are of our mom's generation are just dropping dead after doing OT7 because they don't go to the doctors. And that's fucked up. Like, my mom literally thinks she's cause over her body. And why would I need to go to a doctor? Why would I need to get a checkup? Because people live so long these days because we have medicine before the fact that you get sick. We check in on your blood levels. We check in on things. We prevent diseases before they happen. So many people just find out they had cancer and that's it.
And it's late stage and it's already too late to really do too much about. Yeah, I've seen that happen a bunch of times. Happened to my father. Happened to my godfather too. Not for nothing. No, it's fucked up.
Yeah.
And then, they don't, and it's just, all right, I'll just reincarnate and do better next time, kind of fuck it kind of attitude anyway. So
just drop the body, no big deal. That really isn't good for young suicidal people, let me tell you.
Please, what's this body? What's this lifetime? I'm not even your mother. Go ahead.
For real though, like, just get another one. Just pick up another body. Like, come on, you guys. I know so many second gens who have died by suicide. And I know that that's maybe they don't believe that 100%, but they pretty much believe that like they've just fucked up this bad, this lifetime. You can just start all over again. No big deal. You could even come back to the same family if you want to.
And I've heard like parents say things like that to their children.
Yeah. Also, the fact that they ask you so young if you've thought about suicide. They literally will ask you like on a meter. Like, I got asked when I was like 7. I didn't even know what that meant.
That's about when I started thinking about it.
Yeah.
Do you have suicidal ideation? Just suicidal
just a little ideation. No big deal.
It's a little, it's just like the only out available.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
And if I get these shots, everything will be fine.
I don't know. I want to know how you feel. What if you were like fucking VGIs afterwards?
What if I get them and I can't sing anymore?
That's true. That would be fucked up.
In the 80s, Barbra Streisand used to get asked all the time if she ever thought about getting a nose job, because everybody in the 80s was getting a nose job.
And she had that big schnoz.
And she very famously has a large yes. Anyway, she said no, but she said no because she didn't want it to affect the sound of her voice.
Yeah.
That's why she would do it.
You don't want it to affect the sound of your trauma?
Yeah, right. My trauma is my song, because that's another thing about disassociation. That's also part of writing music, and part of when you're playing, when you're in that zone, it's also the saying 3 feet behind your head.
Yeah. Interesting.
You know? It's also what Donald Trump does at those rallies. It's also what rappers call flow. You know, these are all the same thing. It's also what people are, I think, going for in meditation sometimes. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't cut my hair.
They've defined it as flow.
Yeah, flow. I love that.
Yeah, that makes more sense. Like being in the zone.
All right, but it's also not in present time. Or whatever.
I do think about present time a lot. That whole, what did he say? If you're living in the past, you're aberrated. If you're living in the future, you're aberrated. But you got to live in present moment, or
well, no, but wait.
Future.
The flip of this is that, when you're living in the past, that's anxiety. No, living in the past is regret. Living in the future is anxiety. Living in the present is peace, right?
Which makes sense.
I also want to say that about that. Things that, I was talking about things that work when people are freaking out in alcoholic induced psychotic states. And I was we were talking about the external, not the, look at the building, look at the tree kind of stuff. Locational. Thank you. And also was come back to present time. Actually giving that command to people has totally worked.
Interesting.
And I don't know if it's just because it's such a bizarre thing to say to somebody.
Yeah,
and they go, what the fuck? But it does kind of like it. I've seen it sort of like knock people out of their crazy for a second.
I just wish I could like be a fly on the wall watching you as like a homeless man being like, come back to present
time. Come back to your body. Come on.
Like literally doing a Scientology assist on someone. That is
touch the tree. Touch it. Touch it.
Snap into PT.
Stop knocking up your face. You're knocking up.
Yes. That's too funny. Literally, I would die to see that.
I gotta get it together. I gotta write it. Make a great movie.
I think you would be an excellent storyteller. Like if you wrote a book, then you could actually travel with the book and talk about it. That'd be interesting.
Write it down. Oh, did I cognate? No, I had one of those. I had one of those moments of clarity, epiphany, when the first time I had an edible, and it was a homemade weed brownie, and I got so fucking high, and I remember thinking, "That's why I was born here." Write it down. Like those are these kind of like really solemn voices. And I was like, okay, I should probably listen to that. And that was a long time ago. And I have not been writing. I know, but it's I've been singing about it. I've been writing it down now.
Yeah.
Ever since. But
and we're making recordings. Like these recordings last forever. And
and this is, I think, in a way, this is my version of writing it down, because I know my stupid head doesn't. I'm going to sit here and. In the beginning, there was darkness, and then there was light.
No, I have a really hard time writing too, and so I think this is an easy way to, like, I don't know, get our legacy across, the things we want to say.
Someday, if somebody's interested, they can find out what we're about.
And those who we love who literally have disconnected. Like I do have a bunch of friends who don't talk to me anymore. And if they ever want to Google it, they can be like, oh, she's totally chill. She's not a suppressive person.
But I am degraded.
Well,
I'm not suppressive. I'm not suppressive.
But I started a YouTube channel called Degraded Daughters of Dianetics. So pretty out there. The church didn't really like that one.
Fuck them. If they don't like it, they can take it back.
Yeah, they can't do shit to us. Not anymore.
Until they start sending custodians.
Right. To knock on the door, knock on your neighbor's doors. They do that dumb shit.
And I already have like the weirdest.
Your brother really shouldn't worry about Scientology being his only thing, because he's got a lot going on. Like.
He hasn't put it that way. Like, not that he thinks it's the only thing, but like he doesn't want it to be a thing at all. Like he feels like
Yeah.
there's so much stigma attached. But
Mhm.
him, like a lot of people, like a lot of men in particular, I think have a lot of problem with stigma. Like we're talking about the word alcoholic and or addict, and like I'm an addict and I have no problem with that.
Mhm.
And when you go through recovery, you learn how to not. That's half of the first step for a lot of people, is just getting over the recognition of that you are a thing, and then you learn that that thing isn't this horrible thing you thought it was.
Yeah.
It's a disease, if you want to call it that, or whatever, however you want to go about it. It's not you. It's not who you are. It's
Mhm.
not what it's not your soul. It's just
Yeah.
some fucked up shit, a byproduct
Yeah.
of some fucked up shit. And this
Yeah.
thing called alcohol that's been ruining humanity since its invention, really. I mean, you go back throughout human history, and alcohol has been fucking people up all along the way. And it's the one really smart thing, like Muhammad did, was say no alcohol. He was that was a very smart move on his part. But
Yeah.
like that, think about historically how far back the recognition culturally of the destruction of alcohol goes, that there's an entire, like, one of the biggest religions in the world, one of their basic things there is no imbibing.
It seems so arbitrary too. Like alcohol really does create so many deaths per year and all that. So like what made them choose alcohol to be legal, but like cocaine isn't, or other things? LSD is like the worst according to the government. It's just so bizarre.
Well, alcohol has ancient history. It really does have a really, like,
Yeah.
and even elephants drink. There's this thing where elephants know how to sniff out rotting fruit, and they eat the fermented fruit. And I forget, there's something you have to do, but to make it alcoholic, but they do. Like they get drunk. And in the 70s, when they were training chimpanzees and gorillas to sign, like all those, the experiments, and they thought they were going to have these like deep, they thought they were going to have these great conversations with gorillas or something. But ultimately what it came down to was gimme, food more, gimme. And alcohol. There's this famous gorilla somewhere that like drinks 2 6-packs a day. And if she doesn't, she becomes unruly.
Yeah.
It's like they love it. Everybody loves it.
I mean, people will find a way to get drunk. In prison, they make like prison alcohol in the toilets and shit. It's disgusting.
Toilet hooch. Or fuck, man, people will drink hand sanitizer, Listerine.
Yeah.
People will drink Listerine, Vanessa. And I don't even know if it gets you drunk. I've just seen people on it.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah.
But right now in New York City, what's fucking everybody up is that K2.
Is that like what is that? I haven't
K2. I'm not really 100% sure what it is, to be honest. It was something that was sold as like incense, but people smoke it like weed. It kind of looks like weed, and they smoke it like weed.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's something else.
Kind of like that kratom stuff that they were doing or whatever. It's stuff that you can buy at the smoke shop. But
right. And for a while it was getting through a loophole like that because it was being sold as incense, not as a consumable. It's it's not, you're not supposed to smoke it, right?
Yeah.
And but it's like it's become like this big thing. And I don't know if that and you see people on it, and it's totally like junkies, but they're like dipping out like junkies.
Yeah. We're just inundated with fentanyl out here. Like at work, I have to carry Narcan on me because anytime we go into the community, we're required to bring Narcan with us because it's that common.
I remember a time where I was trying to get fentanyl, and now people are just like tripping over it. What is this?
It's everywhere now. It's everywhere.
People got to kill their pain.
They're cutting it with things though, and everyone's just dropping dead. Like it's pretty insane.
Clyde the orangutan in every which way but loose. That's hilarious, Mr. Anderson. Here's a funny story about growing up in Los Angeles. Is my sister, when I was a very small child, like 4 or 5, my sister Wendy picked me up from preschool and wasn't supposed to. She was underage, didn't have a license. And we got in a car accident. Some guy came down Argyle, smashed into us on Franklin. And the guy behind us who got out of his car to help my sister out was the guy who was in the TV show based on that movie. There was a movie with Clint Eastwood And then they had a TV show. And I don't think it was an orangutan in the TV show. I think he had a chimpanzee, but I forget. But there was a TV show. It was a truck driver. And the chimpanzee pulls. And there was a TV show. And the kid who was the actor, the lead in that TV show, helped Wendy out of her car. That's growing up in Los Angeles. That's just growing up in LA.
Growing up in LA.
You want to hear another fucked up story about growing up in LA? Do we have time for it?
Sure, yeah.
Speaking of Albert Brooks, back to Albert Brooks again, who made Defending Your Life. In the early 80s, late 70s, early 80s, he was a very popular mainstream guy. And he had this movie called Lost in America. And it was about these yuppies who decide he loses his job and they decide to sell off their stuff and just live in a camper and fuck live off the grid. And then, but they lose their money. The wife loses the money. And so he has to get jobs. And so at one point he's working as a crossing guard in like Ohio or someplace in middle America, somewhere in middle America. And he's being taunted by this group of unruly teenagers on bicycles, led by a 14-year-old guy called Mark Goldberg, who later changed his name to Goldie, Mark Goldie. And as a 14-year-old in this movie, he's the definition of redheaded stepchild, cackling little shit. You hate him. You hate him. So as is, it was local casting from wherever he was. He comes to Los Angeles with hope and a dream. He ends up in the Shangri-La. Now that's just to set up who Mark Goldberg is. We're going to put him aside for a second. In the abusive in the abusive relationship I have with my mother, she used to smack me around a lot. And even as I got bigger than her, like I would literally cower so that she could hit me more appropriately. And the first time I ever pushed back, I shoved her away from me one day. And she landed on the bed and she was horrified. She was shocked. And her retaliation for that was to get a guy in the building whose name I don't remember, who was a very tall, very muscly, sinewy guy with a douchebag ponytail. And she got this guy to come and beat me up. He comes into my bedroom one night and just starts hitting me with a leather club.
Oh my God.
This was Sue.
Jesus.
He drags me out to the pool area where I guess some folk have gathered on the upstairs balcony.
Because they could hear it, or oh my God.
I don't know, Vanessa. I don't know. What I know is while I'm standing there being beat by this guy, Mark Goldberg's cackly fucking laugh, that little shit from the bicycle in that movie, is going off above my head. That's the story. Is the fucking laugh. God. Hearing that fucking laugh. And like I've seen that movie since, and it's like that's like, you want to trigger me, give me Mark Goldberg's laugh.
Oh my God.
And that's just a weird sort of like incidental of.
No, you just let the dude beat you up.
I thought I was supposed to. I thought that was my.
I mean, you were according to.
I was out ethics. I was downstat.
That's so fucked up, man. I can't believe your mom did that. I didn't see that side of her, so I'm really sad.
Nobody did. It's that's really twisted now. Really understanding what a two-faced duality of her. Like she drank all the time anytime she wasn't on lines. She drank all the time. And she was violent and she was rage filled and not at all, clear cannibal, maybe.
Yeah, cannibal.
And there was this like tradition where she would talk to my sisters every week. And over the years, I've come to realize they have a very different idea about everything that had been going on during all that time. And also during all that time, she was literally going crazy. She did eventually have dementia, and that's the sort of thing that starts earlier and is gradual and sudden. And so whatever. It's weird to me how they have no sympathy for my plight.
Yeah, that is.
But I don't think they understand it or want to.
Yeah, they probably want to remember their mom how they want to remember her,
But what is that? I have a hard time even getting out of them what it is they want to defend in her.
Yeah.
They won't. When I say, "Oh, mom was this," it's Wendy's very diplomatic. Oh, I'm sure you say so. She doesn't want to argue, and Robin just doesn't give a shit. And then Kelly's like, you know, she disassociates. She's not listening. She's still a Scientologist. Oh, I don't know. When you talk, just stay light. Just stay light. That's her advice.
Yeah, just keep it light. Well, but they didn't get beaten. So
they didn't get beat. They didn't get degraded. They didn't get, you know, the woman was just on me. She hated me. You know what I mean? Here's that narrative, right? She thought I was I was supposed to test to clear as a child. I did not. I was supposed to be the model Scientologist child like you were, but I was not. Yeah. I resisted. I rebelled. I stayed. I stayed a believer. I stayed there, but I did not like participate as much as they wanted me to, certainly. And I was some sort of thorn in their fucking side. Cece, I mean, they hated me, man. They were chasing me around all the time. And all of that was just ultimately, I think, embarrassing to her. You know, like I think she was trying to sell herself and others on the notion that I was so OT. And there I was not being, you know, by their definition, anything but a shit. Yeah, Defending Your Life. Yeah, we were talking about that one. That's a great movie. Albert Brooks.
If the adults had actually nurtured you and not done that bullshit, and that it actually seen the potential, like, that's what just makes me sad, because it's like we didn't get that shit, and you especially deserved to be.
I think even worse, like a child. Yeah, I think it worse. They did see potential, but they didn't think to do anything about it, or they didn't care about it. They were just, or like, you know, he'll figure it out. It was on you. Yeah, it was on me. As an infant, as a child.
Most adults will like, oh, he's interested in music. Let's get him into this class. Let's support the most we can.
And I tried to get into that school. I got into a fucking music school in 5th grade, and she wouldn't let me go.
She removed you, right? Because of racism? Wasn't that what happened?
It was in a black neighborhood, and she didn't want me to go. She was afraid that I would get picked on. Because she didn't know I was already being picked on.
Yeah. Yeah. Self-focused. She says, yes, Vanessa, I agree. Self-focused, not child-focused. Yeah, that's the fucked up part. Now, as an adult, that pisses me off, because that's something that's not just okay. It's like actually fucked up.
Right. And it is, and somebody on one of these threads made that comment that, oh, how convenient that Scientology teaches people it's okay to be a shitty parent, to be a sociopathic shitty parent. And it's like, yeah, that's what it does. You know, a lot of people, Amber's mother also was like, you know, they were not so interested in being mothers in the first place, I don't think, you know? And so it was a burden, you know, some people, you know, oh, it's a joy, their child. And some people it's not. And so, you know, and then Scientology says, yep, you're right. You're right. Yep. Yep. That's right. Yep. Do it more. Do it more. Do it more. Do it more. So and this like, and that's the thing that I really like, flunk, the word flunk. Oh God.
Yeah. That's
trigger.
It's the biggest trigger.
Mocking up your case, and, you know, this constant insistence that every childish thing I did was intentional on purpose, and, or I could have, you know, should have known better or prevented it or been more capable. Because I broke a dish or something. It's like, oh my God. And like, to think about that, the idea that you know, your children are supposed to be forgiven. I had to learn that from a movie.
Yeah.
Children can be forgiven. I had no idea. Oh, it's a Ben Stiller movie. He knocks over a big case of crystal trinkets, and she's like, all children break things and all children are forgiven. And I was like, what? I had no idea. I had no idea. Let's see if Mr. Anderson knows what movie that is. I'm sorry, what?
It was hard to learn that growing up, I thought movies were so fake until I realized, and like TV, I thought it was so fake because like nobody could be happy like that, or nobody could have a real family like that. And honestly, TV they're is exaggerated for sure,
but it is a reflection of reality.
It is a representation. It's a reflection, exactly.
And that's something I like to understand, like to remember, is that wherever that narrative comes from, somebody for real sat down and wrote a real story at some point. And all these narratives are all extrapolated from that. So there's something really, really honest in almost every story told. And there's a great line, Steve Martin in Grand Canyon. He says, your problem is, Mac, you don't watch enough movies. All of life's riddles are answered in the movies. And I love that. I absolutely love that.
I think that way about rock and roll too. If you really listen to enough rock and roll, you're good.
Okay, now I get another. Now it's John Cusack, High Fidelity. Am I sad because I listen to pop music, or do I listen to pop music because I'm sad, or listen to rock music because listen to music? Because all the songs are about somebody's not in love with somebody, or somebody's sad, or somebody's breaking somebody's heart.
Or some crazy ass trips.
One pill makes you smaller, one pill makes you tall, and the one that Elron gave you don't do anything at all. Niacin.
Nothing at all.
Niacin.
Except a red face.
Go ask the word clearer. Fucking shit. I feel like that too. Like, it's such a waste. Like, all this CPU or whatever memory that's wasted on all this stuff. Like,
yeah,
I'm almost relieved when I don't remember something, but it's really frustrating how much I do remember. And I wasn't even drilled to death like some people. Well, I was just in the privacy of my own home.
Yeah, exactly. You got it.
Rather than on the RPF.
I can't believe she didn't get like written up for some of the shit she did to you, because there will be Scientologists who will see that kind of stuff and usually be like, that's fucked up. But
well, no, but like Nora was talking about how, like, as staff members as Sea Org, and Jamie and Nora were talking about how, like, you know, there was all these kids running around who were unkept and dirty and head lice all the time. I cannot tell you how embarrassing that was. They head lice all the time because nobody was taking care of anybody. And then the people on staff look down on us. Like, look at these fucking kids not take care of themselves. What's wrong with them?
Yeah.
With no thought to, shouldn't somebody grown up be doing that?
Yeah.
You know, that's the problem. That's the neglect.
Yeah.
That's the basis of the thing. Is like, they're supposed to just figure it out themselves. We were all latchkey kids at 3 months.
Literally, where are all the adults? Like, still, where are they?
And that's why Poe on the Go hits all the markers so much.
So refreshing. Like, refreshing.
He's a real father. His kid's on the spectrum and all this stuff. And his daughter's queer and everything about it. It's just like the coolest thing. I was like,
I know.
And his grandma,
it's nice to see examples of people who have actually gone through their developmental stages and actually arrived at adulthood. And they're not like, my mom's stuck being like a 16-year-old girl in a lot of ways emotionally. She didn't go through those phases of development that Eric Erickson talks about.
And that's a true thing in recovery too. They say that you don't mature past the moment of your first drink.
Yeah.
And you see that a lot. That's a lot of what people are fixing, is all this sort of
same with heavy trauma.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's all, so similar. In fact, you know, it's great. Oh, Jenna Miscavige. I'm going to say Miscavige. I don't want to say Miscavige anymore. But she was talking to Natalie, and she was talking about what I would call her moment of clarity. And it's really interesting because she's talking about it. And to me, it totally sounds like a recovery story. It sounds like an AA story.
Oh, interesting.
The moment she was like, finally said, you know what? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. And she threw the cans and she stomped on them. Sorry. She stomped on the cans.
That's like sacrilegious.
Oh my God. Bitch is my hero. She stomped on the cans. I was so, oh my God. It was, I mean, it's like, that's it's silly to be so excited about it, but I'm watching it just like, yes, Flirting with Disaster, Jen So, David O. Russell, amen. Yeah. One of my favorite all-time movies. But no, we never, that's just it. None of us had a sense of our own autonomy.
Yeah.
And that is what kind of freaks me out. Like, we really didn't, none of us. Like, the idea that we could walk away, like Amber's talking about when she finally got let go from the Sea Org, and it's like, she would leave. She'd go out all the time and they just go and get her back. And there was never any notion that she would ever leave for real. You just didn't know that you could. You didn't know that was even an option. You didn't know. I don't know what I thought. I just thought, oh, this is just what you're supposed to do. And it's the best thing around. So why bother going elsewhere, right?
I mean, I signed contracts saying that they could pull me out of any psych hospital if I ended up there. Like, I really did think they were always going to come get us from, like, there was no leaving. It was just what we were dealing with. Like I always kind of knew like we're part of this weird thing. Like we have this guy's photo that we clap to, and like maybe at some point we're gonna have to deal with this.
In some homes it's Jesus, in some homes it's MLK.
Yeah.
In ours it was
Ron.
The old man. The old man. Remember the old man? I remember the old man. I remember
the old psycho sci-fi man.
You know who does the voice is Jamie. Jamie does an L.R. Hubbard voice that is scary to listen to.
Really? It's
oh yes. Good? Oh yes. It's very, very scary. He gets on the phone sometimes and he does it. I'm like, no. Right in your ear too. I don't know.
That's funny. You guys do have a very similar affect and voice too. That's what everybody was saying on your live. Like, oh, you sound just like Jamie.
I would love to get Josh in on this. We have an older brother called Josh.
What?
Yeah, right.
Since when?
I know. Kabam! The Brady Bunch. It's the Brady Bunch. It is it's a very blended family. And then, of course, Jono. I don't know which one of us is the appendage, him or me, but Jono at the end. Like someday the four of us got to like do it.
Not Jono, the blonde.
Jono Reese. No, Jono Reese.
Okay. There's another Jono who was in the Sea Org and then came out.
No, he's still in the Sea Org. Jono's still in the Sea Org. Josh took off when he was a teenager. He was the smartest one of all of us. Josh took off in the 80s. And there's this great picture of him with Roz and everybody, her family mostly, right? And Josh is off sitting on the side, looking very much like one of the guys from the movie Warriors. Come out and play. He's got the vest and the head. He looks just like one of the dudes from the Warriors. I shit you not. And it's 1980. It's like right on the nose. And he took off like 2 days later or something. And they didn't see him, I think, for years.
Where is he now? What's his deal?
He's, as far as I know, he's in the Bay Area. He's a chef. He was married. He has a kid. There is a nephew I've never met.
Wow.
I did meet his wife via Facebook at one point, but never in person. And I don't remember if I ever knew Josh as a kid. I remember meeting him when Jono got married. Jono's wedding. He came for Jono's wedding. I didn't go to the wedding. My mother wouldn't.
So you have a brother who's still in the Sea Org?
Jono. No, Josh isn't in the Sea Org. No, Jono, the youngest. But Jono's not my brother. Jono is Roz's next kid with different husband whose name I don't remember, even though I did know him as a child. Yeah, the words. No, so Roz is Jono's Roz's next son after our father, after my father, John.
Okay. Oh, got it.
I'm Sue's next, right? Whatever. It's confusing.
There's a lot of you.
At least nobody got remarried. Anybody that would make it so much harder. Or like on my mother's side of the family, everybody's called William. They're all Bill, Billy, Big B, UB, Uncle B, Uncle Bill, Billy, Willie, William.
Both of my grandpas were William.
No, I mean like. I'm talking about like 50 men. I'm talking about like almost every living male member of my mother's side of the family. Like they name all their sons William, and then also the women marry Williams.
That's wild.
It's crazy. These people, I don't know what that is. But there's a lot of Williams in the world.
Jen says in Boston, there's always a Jesus and a Kennedy by the door, which is funny.
Right. A Jesus and a Kennedy. That's hilarious.
Jen, will you email me? Because I used to have your email and I think about you quite often. So email me, please. I'll type my email in here. She's really sweet.
Thinking of auditing or courses, which do you think was most abusive? I think that the drills and all that stuff of coursework, the sort of constant was probably more abusive on the surface. But I think in the long run, it might be the auditing because it's a subversive thing that we didn't really know was happening. You know, right?
Yeah. It's hard to say, but the TRs are really, really bad in the way that it causes dissociative disorders. It's really, really bad. Anytime you teach somebody not to listen to their body, that's why yoga is really good. You're like in your body and you're listening to your breath. Breath work is really how you get through anxiety.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Dude, like literally, we wanted to not be in our bodies. Like that's so not okay from a psychological viewpoint of growing up, but like really teaches you to just let your emotions be other. It's not you, it's like other, and that's fucked up.
Wow. That's depressing, isn't that?
You know, whatever.
Schools,
Just totally
schools.
disassociative.
And I've seen so much. I've seen such extreme examples of that, and I understand, like, I don't know. That's just such a. It's so bizarre to me to think that. To think that we were all taught to be like that, and it's like, and it's just like this, like knee jerk thing sometimes. Like somebody says something. Oh, I heard Scientology. I don't know what you're saying. I can't hear. Blah, blah, blah. Just so you don't have to hear it. Just don't have to confront it.
Yeah. Exactly.
3 feet behind your head. I got to make something out of that. 3 feet. 3 feet behind your head. Your fucking ass.
Now, listen to the, because I remember when I read the symptoms list, I was like, holy shit. Let's see. Oh, this is another part of it that's really important. Depersonalization and derealization disorder, which is under the umbrella of disassociation. And it's a condition where you feel detached from your thoughts, feelings, and body, and or disconnected from your environment. So
all the time. Is that the condition? I think we all feel that way sometimes, don't we? Or is it just me? I don't know.
No. No.
Oh, no. Not everybody feels that way? Oh, maybe I'm wrong.
Not everybody.
I guess that's how it's, that's how you get through it. You go, everybody feels that way. But sometimes, right? But then people, I don't know. Yeah. Well, I call it, this is interesting because this was definitely part of my generation, the just sort of disenfranchised with human living. So like in my day, people were very obsessed with being abducted by aliens or becoming vampires. Yeah. And then the zombie thing happened, like this, furries, I think are part of this, like people who just don't like have that, just don't want to be human. So I'd rather be a vampire. I'd rather be an alien. I'd rather be a zombie. Mm-hmm. I'd rather be a 6 foot tall bird.
Whatever's not really going on in our reality. But the scary part is that derealization involves feelings of unreality or being detached from your surroundings. So my key expression leaving Scientology is this real life? Like it was literally like, is this real life? Like, are you guys real? Is this really happening? Is this really?
And I do that.
Personalization.
And I do that. Like I'll turn to people. I'm like, do you hear that? That's just me.
Yeah.
Is this the real life? Is it just fantasy? Caught in a landslide from reality. Freddie.
Well, shall we meet again next week, my darling?
Yes, next week. Do I need to read this stuff? Sounds like a different OT ability ongoing body.
No, yeah, absolutely right.
Just do it,
Depersonalization sounds like a reframing of an OT ability going outside the body. Exactly.
That's
why it's so bizarre that they praise it.
3 feet behind.
It's like the coolest thing you can do.
Yeah, and
I'm staying in my body this week.
And you got points for shit like that. I was Joan of Arc in a past life. Everybody I knew was Jim Morrison or Joan of Arc.
Everybody I knew was Marilyn Monroe.
Nobody wanted to be Joan of Salk. I don't know why.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. So, nobody knew. All right. It's time to talk. It's dinner time.
Folks. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back again, same time, same place. See you later. Bye, Danny. Bye.